pool. And when I moved here in '72, and we had the old swimming pool, and my girls were 18 months and 4. So because I have this thing about swimming at Duke, at the university, you have to swim to graduate. Well, guess what? I failed. And the dean said, "You're going to learn to swim before you graduate." I'm a nursing student, you know. Well, I took swimming, then I didn't pass. I wouldn't jump in the pool to pass the test, so I went in the second time. I finally dog paddled enough to get out, and she let me pass. But anyway, I didn't want my girls to grow up being afraid. And with the river close by, kids tend to want to go to the water on a hot day. It's a safety issue, and I thought we need the pool. So one evening, we talked about it at Coffeenians. I was a member of Coffeenians, and then a group of parents, and I can't remember exactly, Nancy and John Schambach, and Jim and Sarah Bunch, and Warner and I think maybe Sharon and Frank Barber met at my house. And they said, "We're going to get a swimming pool. This one is bad." Everybody had tar on their suits, and it was in yes, so it was really in bad condition. So we worked on trying to get a pool, and so we went about it not knowing one thing. When John or Jim went to the city council, I remember, and spoke to them about how we could proceed with doing it, and we went to the DNR, applied for a grant, and I personally went over to the DNR and met with them and said, "How do I do this? What do we do?" And they told us $400,000 is what we needed for the pool, and we could get a grant for $200,000. So Coffeenians led the pledge, and we did a pledge program to raise the $200,000. And we knocked on every door. We divided the town up in sections, and we knocked on the doors and said, you know, would you give $10 or $50 or $100? And you don't have to pay us now, but when this comes through, you have to, you know, hand the money over. And they did. And we got $200,000. So we raised the 200, and then we matched it. And of course, with the DNR, we had to have a 5-year master plan. And part of that was this little skating rink. Do you remember there was a skating rink down over the hill? That was part of it. We had new playground equipment, and I don't know what else, but of course the bathhouse and the swimming pool. And then we did tennis courts later. And that was all part of the master plan, a 5-year plan that we worked out. And so then I became the president of the park board, and Jan Baxter was the mayor. And after that, it was Charlie Watts, and I don't remember the names. I had a whole binder with all the pictures and all the info. I gave it to the city, but I don't know where it is. In fact, I looked everywhere. I haven't been able to come up with a photograph, but I remember standing. I was afraid they'd throw me in the pool because that's what they said they would do. Well, that would have been really bad. I was in a panic. Oh my gosh!
What year was it that you started the project?
We started the project probably in '77 or '78, and then it opened in '80. It opened in
like after the whole complex project.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I was thinking the complex project went on at just about the same time, and then the pool. It was great because it provided a safe place for the kids to go, and it provided some employment for some of the young people as lifeguards, and it was just a great project. Great project. And Cooperative was really instrumental, and they did all of the tracking on the money, and we didn't have anybody who didn't come through with their pledge, and we just got $400,000. Of course, that's probably a drop in the bucket as to what it will cost now to do it. Million? Mm-hmm. Wow. That was Olympic size on one side is Olympic size. Right. And I think that was absolutely fantastic what you were able to do to get the school. Yes.
And they're still going to do it as soon as the pool is back up and operating.
Right. Well, we tried to get that started.
Yes. Well,
several different times, and we could not get a cooperation with the school. They didn't see how it was possible.
We never actually signed a cooperation with the school, but because Dr. Smith was new, he said, let's try it. Let's pilot it, see if it works, you know, that first year. And I mean, it was like, I went to talk to him July 16th before the school year, and he started it that August.
Wow.
I know. So there was really nothing to it. Just, like Allison Carfault helped me, and we applied for a grant to get the funds, like just to get the chemicals covered and everything up front. But I think it's great. And they were going to expand it because the Covington 5K donated toward it. They were going to expand it like threefold, like 3 different grade levels were going to be doing it this year. 2 different grade levels did it last year. It was 3rd and 4th, I think. And this year it would have been 3rd, 4th, 5th. But since it stayed closed, they'll just have to wait until next year. But they plan on doing it again. Like, the kids love it. And a lot of kids don't know how to swim.
You know what? See, I came from a rural area in Maryland, and we didn't have any swimming there except the ponds, and I think that's very, very dangerous. And I really felt very, very strongly that it's so important. And when I moved here, I'm not a sports person, but I was almost appalled. Everybody talked basketball, and everything was basketball. And I'm like, the only sport that really means anything, life or death, is swimming. We absolutely have to have these kids learn to swim.
Yes.
So we need a swimming pool with instructions available. So that worked out.